Perfect. I want to add some trumpets to this track. How do I do it? I want some trumpets that fit precisely. So what do? I drag and drop into the context. Here I can do the loading, so I can open my samples, or I can drag and drop, or I can even prompt jazz trio drums. Bass and piano. Okay, audio's generated. I'll hit play. In theory, I can separate it here. Use 4-stem, 6-stem, or the drum separator. These features will be available soon, right in this panel too. Let's say I separate. The various stems appear. Here, for example, I have context, stems, with the various colors of the stems. So these are all features that will always be updated, especially in this first part of beta testing. Nothing. Basically, this part here now becomes the new context inside. So for example, the vocals weren't here. I can delete them. But these here, obviously, I can easily take them and drop them into the project. But let's say we wanted to insert the trumpet into our project. So what do? I delete. I drop this stuff here. In the reference, I load what I wanted. There is a trumpet. Now here, for example, okay, I'll load this one and write. So it generates. Here we can hear it with the context. Okay. This is dropped into our project. Let's do it like this. Let's hear what it did for a moment. For example, what's happening here? On 3, I see slight flicker. What do? I'm sending it to MIDI. I know we are working in a minor. I snap to scale, switch to my 3, see it here, got, bam. Now this thing's a bastard. Here, I can reduce that part there, or this one, bam. So I have a better view. I'll do snap to scale. Change, modify what I want. Let's do this snap. I'll go find it. This one here, no, I modify the things. Obviously, this algorithm will also become more performant because we are improving the algorithms. So I modify this part here and export. I can export the MIDI directly within the piano roll, like this. Bam, and I have it in the piano roll. I can do whatever I want with it, or simply drop the variant in the timeline. So like this one. So basically, this is insane. Here, for example, there is also the possibility of making smaller loops if, for example, an entire song is inserted and you only want a part of the song. You select the part you want. And here, obviously, there is a grid and it separates. For example, just the selected part. So, technically these here are the various parts, and you can recall the MIDI of each individual part. For example, drums or others. And so the context that will be used. In theory then, if they are separated, it will be the mix of the stems. That is. For example, here I remove others and just leave drum and bass. Okay, in the reference, instead of putting the trumpet, I'll put the guitar. I'll do this. I'm going to generate a guitar for my new context. For example, here I did this. I export the stems that it generated directly. So, general recap. Here I have the tabs of the various generated MIDI. Okay. Here I have the drag and drop for the MIDI. Here I have the drag and drop for the audio with the edits made inside the piano roll. Here I have the folder with generated MIDI and stems. Here I have all the piano roll functions. Snap to scale, DW, BPM synchronization with the DAW and the snap at the very level of time quantization. I can choose the grid and, let's say, how the grid is laid out. Here is the user card, where there is the API management, or you can buy credits, or you can send feedback here. Minimum 10 characters. Here you can select bug report, feature request, or others. I'll put others and send. Perfect. Let's minimize the piano roll. And we return to the Jane panel, where we have the option here to create a new tab. So a new request for a new context, a new reference. We can make as many as we want. Here we can rename. Perfect. Then, here we have context. We can loop it. Here it reminds us where we made the loop, in case we move it from the request. The reference, drag and drop or load. Here you select the model. You separate the context that we have either loaded or generated via prompt. And here we have the stem generation. The stem that fits perfectly within our composition or our context. That we can call in MIDI or drag and drop. Here on the play bar we have context, stem, and generations. These are all synchronized at the play level. So if I press play, they sound simultaneously, and I select the ones I want to listen to.
I press play. Here, there's also the MIDI, for when I have to work on the piano roll.
That's it.